All right, so let's be real here. We've been asking Dodge for more power for quite some time. We wanted more power in the RT. We wanted more power in the Scat. We even wanted more power in the Hellcat. Well, Dodge gave us that. Unfortunately, they took away the V8 in the process, but they did give us the power. The entry-level Charger, 2024 Dodge Charger, the electric motor, 455 horsepower. The mid-range, which is the quote-unquote electric Scat Pack, 590 horsepower. And then, of course, the SRT Banshee, which is the Hellcat, Red Eye, and everything in between, 800 volts, which they're saying could be anywhere between 700 to 900, basically, right? They gave us more power. Unfortunately, they took our engine in the process, and they gave us a rather ugly car, but they gave us more power. If that 2024 Dodge Charger smokes every single V8 HEMI that Dodge has ever built, it seems to me like they made a step in the right direction, right? How do you feel? Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Knockout 360 here with another video. So as you can tell, I'm in the car that makes this a car vlog. You already know what's going down when I come around. Let's get into it. Car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around because you're in the right place. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. So Dodge just released an updated look at what the 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona SRT Banshee is going to look like, right? I got to make sure I get that name correctly. 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona SRT Banshee, right? And everybody hated it. They said it was ugly. They said the color was ugly. They said the body was long with no body lines, no side skirts, nothing like that. The spoiler in the back was cheap looking. It just looked like an ugly car. Let's just keep it 100 here. I know that and you know that, and it's going to be powered by an electric motor. Once again, I know that and you know that. But one thing that a lot of people don't know is that Dodge plans on making these Chargers faster than ever before, which is what we've been asking for. For the longest time, a lot of us have been asking for more power out of the RT, more power out of the Scat Pack, and even more power out of the Hellcat, right? More power out of the Hellcat before you go into the demon territory, right? And it seems like that's what they're going to do. But the trade-off is we're taking the V8 HEMI, we're taking the looks that you're used to, but we are going to give you much more power. So the question is the trade-off worth it? I'm looking at caranddriver.com, entry-level Charger 340. Now, all of these names are kind of quote-unquote 340. The entry-level Charger 340 gets a 400-volt propulsion system and 455 horsepower. So that's your RT right there. That's your entry-level V8 compared to your entry-level electric, 455 horsepower. Electric, instant torque. You're probably beating Scat Packs with that. More than likely, you are beating Scat Packs with that. You're definitely beating RTs with that. More power. And then, of course, the mid-range is going to be the Charger 440, which is what they're calling the electric Scat Pack. And that one's going to be putting down 590 horsepower. Once again, more power than a Scat Pack. And I believe these systems are all-wheel drive. Don't check me if I'm don't quote me on that. I believe that all these systems are all-wheel drive. And if that's the case, you're smoking everything. Everything that Dodge has ever built, you're smoking it. I mean, even a 590 horsepower all-wheel drive instant torque electric car, put that up against my Hellcat, I'm going to spin off the line. I'll walk you down, but you're getting me by at least a car length, maybe two. And then, of course, the top of the line, the SRT Banshee, Daytona SRT Banshee, will have an 800-volt architecture with two motors. The horsepower rating as of right now is the secret. But clearly, if the mid-range is 590 and the entry level is 455, we should be seeing upper sevens, eights, and even nines possibly. So 700 to 900. And they're even saying that both of these models can receive over-the-air horsepower bumps through the direct connection system and multi-speed transmission, which is promised. I don't know why I read that transmission part. But long story short, for one, they're saying that the 455 and the 590 is not even the final horsepower for these cars because it looks like they can be updated over the air with the Dodge Direct Connection program. I don't know how they're going to do that, but that's what Car and Driver magazine is saying. And then two, with the SRT Banshee 800 volt all-wheel drive, two motors powering this thing. So two electric motors are going to be powering this thing. It's going to be heavy, quiet, instant torque, and very fast. Which is literally everything that with the exception of the quiet part, we've been asking from Dodge for quite some time. We've been asking for more power, and they're finally giving it to us. Unfortunately, they're taking the engine away from us. That's the trade-off. The trade-off is you give us the engine, you give us the V8 sound, the V8 experience, we'll give you more power. That's what they're doing. Now, let's be real here. So right now, we all hate it. We hate the way that it looks. We hate the sound of it. We hate the idea of an electric motor. We hate all of that. But can you imagine by the end of this year, going into next year, when you see Hellcats and Demons and Demon 170s, red eyes, jailbreaks, lined up against the SRT Daytona Banshee, and that thing is smoking them? And I mean smoking them off the line, smoking them from a dig, smoking them from a roll. Will that change your mind? Is the power alone enough to change your mind about the 2024 Dodge Charger? Because I think that's what Dodge is offering, right? I mean, there's no way that they can replicate a V8. You know, there's no way that they can replicate that experience. The sound and the fake exhaust and all that stuff, it's just, that's show, that's cap, you know, that's just for show. So that you can say that you hear something, right? Because it's hard to go from these loud ass cars to essentially an electric car that's making no noise whatsoever. But the fact of the matter is they have to give you something to entice you, which is the power. Is it enough for them to just give you more power? And then that can change your mind. If the entry level Charger 340, I think it's called, is fast enough to beat your Scat Pack that you're currently sitting in right now, and that's the entry level, is that enough to convert you? And the mid-range Charger, 590 horsepower, all-wheel drive, instant torque, is enough to get a Hellcat off the line. Is that enough to convert you? And then, of course, the 800-volt SRT Banshee, which will probably smoke anything and everything that Dodge has built. I just saw a video the other day of a Demon 170 getting down with a Tesla Plaid. And I'm not going to lie, the Demon 170 had it about 3/4 of the way down the track. And then the Tesla Plaid started pulling on it. The Demon 170 got it off the line, little to no spin, but that Tesla Plaid started to walk them down. That's our future right there. This 2024 Dodge Charger EV, SRT, Banshee, Daytona, Banshee, whatever, that's not going to happen with that. Tesla Plaid, SRT Banshee, that's the future. But more power. I think that's the route that Dodge is taking. Listen, we're going to give you something revolutionary, something you've never seen before, something you've never heard, and we're going to make it more powerful than anything that you've ever seen or heard as well. It's going to take time for you to latch onto it, but eventually you will. And when you do, you'll forget that these engines, these cars ever existed. Let's take away the V8, but let's give them more power. That's the only way that these cars are going to sell, is if somehow or another they're able to convince us that these cars, these new 2024 Dodge Chargers, are so fast and so powerful that we would forget that these cars ever existed. These ICE, internal combustion engine cars, ever existed. And if that's the case, that's how they're going to sell it. That's how they're going to move into the future. That's the selling point of these cars, of those cars, is that they're going to be more powerful than anything that we've ever seen. Now, my question to you is, are you okay with sacrificing the V8, the HEMI experience, the exhaust, the cold start, the acceleration? Are you willing to sacrifice all of that for more power, instant torque, all-wheel drive, no more spinning, no more trips to the gas station? Are you willing to sacrifice it for that? So you got the experience over power. That's the only way that Dodge is going to sell these 2024 Chargers. That's going to be their gimmick right there, is the power. Everything else, nobody really cares about. Nobody really cares about the body thus far. I saw it in the Octane Red, or what I thought was the Octane Red. And I'm not going to lie, it was a nice looking color. But then they dropped it in the Daytona, not the Daytona, but the Destroyer Gray. And they actually showed what the real body was going to look like. And it was disgusting. It was ugly. It was long. It was boxy. It was ugly. The interior, it's futuristic looking, but then again, it also just looks like, it looks cheap a little bit, you know? And just something that we're not used to. But when we start talking about numbers and we start talking about power, all-wheel drive, 800 volt, I want to say horsepower so bad, but 800 volt monster, 590 volt or 590 horsepower monster compared to your Scat Pack or your RT or my Hellcat, and we start getting smoked by these cars, you're going to eventually want to convert over. Let's be real here. So power over the experience, Dodge knows what they're doing. They know that if they're dealing with the true power-hungry fan base of people, that eventually the power will suck us in, will change our minds and convert us in and of itself. Or we'll just leave Dodge and go to Ford or Chevy or something like that. Either or, right? So either the power will convert us or Chevy or Ford will convert us over to them. But I think that that's what Dodge is banking on, is that they're going to give you so much power that it's almost a deal that you can't refuse. Like, you can't overlook this deal. All-wheel drive, you're beating every RT, every Scat Pack, every Hellcat, even a Demon. Right? Even a Demon. And we're going to give you some fake exhaust noises too. Talk to your boy, man. So you got power over the actual experience. How do you feel about that? That's the only way the Dodge is going to get us to buy these cars and convert, is they have to give us more power and just make it such a sweet power deal that we can't refuse it, right? Because eventually, let's be real here. I remember there was a while ago where I wanted to get into motorcycles, right? I wanted to get into sport bikes. And everybody was telling me, don't get, I think like the bottom line is like a 300 or something like that. They was like, if you're going to get a bike, get you a 600. Start with a 600. And if you can handle it, get you a 1,000 cc bike. But they was like, do not get anything under a 600. 600 should be your absolute baseline. And the reason that they said that is because after about 6 months, you're going to want more power. And I think that's what Dodge is banking on. They're going to bank on the fact that after a year or so of looking at these electric cars do what they do, and you're in your 485 horsepower Scat, you're going to want more power. You know what I'm saying? You're going to want to move into the future. That's where the 2024 Dodge Charger comes into play. And that's what they're banking on. Everything else, you can keep it though. As always, it's been your boy Knockout 360. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.